Hi everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a Divine Masculine Twin Flame read for you guys today. It's a really amazing read, so stay tuned. It's a beautiful day out today. Forgive me if I'm still a little bit out of breath. I was just outside in the sun. It's pretty hot out there. But the energy is really good. I wasn't getting any particular stress from the masculine, although there is a little bit of anxiety coming up here and there. As I went out this morning, it is July 13th, 2019, and before I forget, yesterday I did quote the wrong number for the day the number that the day added up to yesterday. I don't know why I did that, but I said it was 2911 and it wasn't. It was 314, which is the 5 of Wands, that expansion and conflict energy. Today is the 32 and the 13 of the 13th. 13, of course, is the death card, transformation, transition, and the day adding up to the 32, which is a 5, and so we're still in that expansion energy from yesterday because the card was a 5. Today the card is a 6, the 6 of Wands, which is the journeyman. So it's journeying on as we carry on. So that was, I was getting that with this because death is all about the transformation and the rebirth of the journey. So it's very much the energy of today, and some very cool messages came through. The Divine Masculine read was done from 9:19 to 20 is when I finished. 19 is the Sun, 20 is the Judgment card. And when I went outside this morning, I noticed in taking a picture of the sun, there was a jet stream of a plane going by, and it went toward the sun, and then it went behind a tree, and then it came outside the other side of the tree. So there is some spying and elusiveness here, and that happened again, and I'll tell you that in just a second. Sorry about that. Otherwise, outside, what I was getting this morning, I noticed my pink flowers and the blueberries, how many blueberries were getting ripe this morning. And I was also getting a message to eat the blueberries off the vine. That was part of what came up in the read actually today. And then as I took a picture of my flowers, I got a great rainbow spray across them, which I guess I'll post on the tag. And then a picture of a perfect spider web, which was very cool, with one fly in the center of it. So as I get into the masculine read, the only major arcana today were the Strength card, the Hanging Man, which is like the Hanged Man, and an Alchemy, which is like the Temperance card. That was it for today for the major arcana. So the Divine Masculine Twin Flames definitely had more leeway today to choose on their own without guidance. There were 5 pentacles, 2 cups, and 1 sword, so no wands here. So, and there was no court cards either. So it's like no movement. I know I won't say there's no movement because there was. But no, it was all about the money stuff today, not about, working out or traveling a lot. Yeah, I'm not getting that kind of physical movement. It was all about the money with the 5 pentacles. The heart stuff was there because we have 2 cups and just 1 sword, which is okay. So there's, not much anxiety, but there is a little bit of anxiety there in the underlying energy. No court cards. So before the read, there was a Page of Pentacles and the 9 of Cups, which is not a court card, but I often see it as a person. And then the Page of Swords came up after the read. So those were the only court cards that came up at all, but they were before and after the main part of the read. So we have 2 pages here. So kids definitely could be involved in this day, but also that could just have to do with messages and attitudes and offerings that may come up in the read today. So there were some major numbers here today because we got 333s and 888s, which never happens within the read. And the message today was all about the communication card. However, it was covered and came up unication, which was perfect. So it's kind of the unication and then charge, all right? So it was about the masculine, like just making a 180 and then going on to the journey. It was very interesting how the energy came up here. The message here, the numbers first. So the line again, because it added up to 34 yesterday, added up to 34 today with a 32 and a 2, but also a 9 was there with 41. 41 is the Ace of Cups, 34 is the 8 of Wands, that passionate communication back and forth or just heated exchange. Also 22, like I said, 888 and 333 came up, as well as 66. The sequence 6, 7, 8, 9, so the end of the cycle. And then 23 of the King of Wands. 36 was significant here. That is the 10 of Wands, right? When you're carrying too much weight, you're going to drop because there's so much burden, or whether it's heavy exercise or whatever you're doing. There's a gap between the 3 and the 6, all right? So it's about filling in the gap between the 3 and the 6. So letting go of the burdens, the 4 and the 5 can come up, and that's the Emperor and the Hierophant are needed to close the gap. And also the 1 was missing of the Magician, so he may be of help as well. 67 came up, which is the Knight of Pentacles. 78, which is the 10 of Pentacles, and then 89. And so power and religion were coming up as significant here, is the gap between the Emperor and the Hierophant. And Hierophant is abbreviated as hero. All right, so be my hero and save me, like the church would save you. But it's about saving yourself and empowering yourself for the Emperor and the Magician. And 3 cards came up yesterday as well in clarifiers together. I think it was it was more of a feminine. It was like the 3 wise men, only the feminine version of it. So it was like the Magician, the Hermit, and the Empress, I believe, came up. Or it could have been the High Priestess, but I don't think so. I think it was the Empress, the Magician, and the Hermit. So that was kind of interesting. And then the number 26 comes up here as well, which is the Page of Wands, which is definitely very significant in this read, because the underlying energy I start with definitely had the Page of Wands upright, and then the Page of Wands came up reversed in the read as well, so kind of back and forth there. Could be 2 different fire children as well. So the message here on the code line was all about that communication or unication. The message being about seeing Sophia's power, Sophia being the feminine godhead. All right, so we have Mother, Father, Christos, Sophia, God, Creator, Source, however you want to look at it, love. So in telling the masculine to see the feminine's power, the Sophia power, the Empress and the High Priestess of the Christ tears, of the Christos Sophia, that they work in tandem, just like his tears were her with him on the cross, helping him through, allowing her to help him from within to strengthen Han Solo, which he refers to himself as in the reads, and unify and charge, okay? So you notice that uni and cation is about unity consciousness, and then cation is the charged atom, right? And we were just talking about Adam and Eve, and I forgot to tell you, oh, I think I have it here too. When I went hiking with my twin flame girlfriend on, was it, I can't remember if Wednesday or Thursday, but not yesterday, I think it was the day before. And I took some pictures there, and one of them was a store that we passed, which was very cool. Right after I'd taken a picture of store number 222, which we parked right across from accidentally. And then we passed this store, okay? And you have to notice in the picture a couple of things, which I wrote down, so I'll tell you. But notice that underneath Adam, there's like 2 stripe marks, like an 11, and there's another 11 under Eve with another 1, which is like the huge unity consciousness. And also, it's funny what those little signs say. See the white sign on the left and the purple sign on the right? So I'll let you know what those said, because they were significant as well. But Adam and Eve came up before Adam and Eve came up yesterday in the read. So it was very significant. And here we have Adam coming up again because of the cation, because cation is a charged atom. So it is positively charged because it has less electrons, which means it has space. It's like, it's magnetized, right? So it can draw energy in. It has space to fill. It's like an employer that needs employees, right? It's self-sufficient, but it needs more employees to run in order to keep up the positive energy, whereas the anion, the ANIO ion, is, you know, it kind of like has the masculine outie, but it's negatively charged because it has too many electrons already, so it doesn't need any more, it's satiated. Whereas the one with less electrons is hungry but really stable inside. The other one is less stable inside but has more superficial stuff. Okay, so it's funny because the one with the outie has the more superficial stuff on the outside going on, like the masculine, and the one with the innie is more stable inside but has less electrons on the outside. But they're considered positively charged because they're stable inside. It's very interesting how you look at it as compared to the journey and the dynamic between the masculine and the feminine. But we're getting the positively charged cation here, and the unification, the unication, and charge. So charge comes up in several different ways in the read today, as far as charging the magnetization of the feminine and the masculine, but also having to do with charging credit cards and overspending. That comes up in the read. But for the masculine, see the power of the journey, of the Christ, the crying, and the power of the crying of the feminine side of yourself to strengthen Han Solo or him. That's the unication. Okay? So also to see the Sophia 9, or the collective feminine consciousness, or the Empress. Oh yeah, it was the Empress, the Magician, and the Hermit that I saw, because I wrote it down here. To toggle up with the woundedness, right? Or the need to cry. The divine feminine side, the divine feminine crying, is her secret strength of unication. Han's unication. So crying is that secret strength because you release the stress, you de-stress, so you empower yourself by becoming positive again, right? You become stronger inside and less superficial on the outside. So it's very interesting how Spirit was guiding me in this respect. So as we start the read with the masculine here, we start off with Trinity, you see right in front of you. And I just want to make sure there wasn't something else I wanted to show you there. And it was when I went up, we went hiking in the mountains. We went up to a vortex that's near me, and we saw so many like 117 and 717 and 7717.7, or is 1771.7. So lots of those numbers, so many syncs. The 222s. And also, this was kind of cool. There's a marking at where we went. I don't know if this was exactly the vortex spot, but also you see the true north there, and then the numbers over to the side was it's ELEV, so elevation 1521. In case you're curious, but that was cool for us. We discussed some codes for us, but you can see if that matches anything for you. And we got a hawk flying by, and that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't notice that. I noticed that I'm just noticing, I noticed this from afar when I was just looking at the pictures, that looks like a division sign there in the parking lot. I like to divide into. There's just some really nice pictures, you know, really pretty, you know, woods. So I'll have to look through them later, see if there's anything else I wanted to show you, but now I'm forgetting why I told you that in the first place. But as we get started with the Trinity there is the first card, where you study your abilities, enjoy time with twin, like your kids, like you're playing, just like we did, and going up the mountains and playing together. Happy getting your wish in love, and work that you love as well. A place where pain is released, a blissful state of being, emotionally detached. Rewind, accept your twin is not there. You sent her away, and now your luck has turned, recovering, but it's very slow at work. So this is coming up as energy for the masculine. Not allowing himself happiness, not allowing himself freedom, not allowing himself to cry, because of the structure he's been raised in. So whatever it is, it's going to be different for each one, but it's just that idea of recognizing the restrictions he was given as a child that no longer apply, but he's still using them in his life, and recognizing these things, the wounds coming up to his consciousness. Also 521 came up in the numbers. I didn't say that. 521. Grieving loss, regret for the divine masculines, and don't forget this is the feminines too, especially those of you with a lot of masculine in you. Grieving loss, regret, and strategizing how to invest, but not using intuition or unaware, or a secret's out, or spying on a neighbor over the fence, or Viking princess is doing this, spying on hard labor of the King of Wands, who is looking for that little lizard again. Where'd they go? Sneaking off to spy. The little lizard looking for the King of Wands, his money clip, or money in shoes or slippers, or a calf corset, shin splints, or left side, feminine's corset, or left slipper, or expensive shoes that someone puts money in. One person watching someone watch another. The high priestess looking at the King of Wands, who is looking at the other's calves working out. So I was getting an owner, like this is a wound from slaves and slave owners or plantation owners. So the owner jealous of the slave's muscles, and envy came up here. Karmic watching him to make sure he's not lusting, while she's watching gardener or lawn or pool boy do their work. The karmic with a hook, or put hook in divine masculine's third eye so he can't see etherically, only what's in front of his eyes. So he'll only work and bring her home some money, clean the yard, and provide her perfect castle just the way she wants it. Her money is hers, and his money is hers. He gets scraps, possibly 2 out of 7, perhaps. He is the storefront, but she runs the show. Possibly her father over him, as well as his, and or. Chariot out boldly moving, charging up credit cards. Offering self a whole new life, or just going on another shopping spree. And that was at 1022. That's 10 of the Wheel of Fortune, and 22 is the Fool, right? Being a fool and being free and spending all your money even if you don't have it to spend. And before I forget, I want to tell you too, when I was just out in the backyard, it was so funny. I was laying out just to get a little bit of sun and listening to some stuff. And first I thought I saw a cardinal, but when I looked back, I think he was in the shade, so I couldn't really tell if he was a cardinal or a robin, because I knew I saw red. But then I'm laying there for a while, and I look off to the side, and I notice between the rungs in the deck that the cardinal's on the side there of my yard, on the other neighbor's fence, but he's sitting on one of the bushes by the fence, and he's kind of behind the leaves spying on me, like he's literally looking at me. So I went to take a picture, but right as I take the picture, he flew away, so I didn't get the shot. But it was the cardinal being very elusive, just like the plane going behind the bush, right? In and out, kind of spying. This cardinal was definitely spying on me and then flew away as soon as I went to take the picture. And then after that was at 2:14 actually, and then 2:15 when I tried to get the picture. At 2:22, the 2 white butterflies started frolicking in my field of view. And then as I watched them and I was smiling, they came closer to me from apart, coming together right near me outside of the fence of the deck. And then as soon as they came together right in front of me, they parted again, going to different sides. It was like south and east. So that was very cool, and that's definitely a message for you guys as well. So getting back to the read, the masculine grieving debt and has been hermiting, but now coming out, has had enough. Because of overspending, he has nothing left, or not much anyway. Not seeing the perfectly good 2 cups behind him, or maybe he didn't lose everything, but feels like he did because of how hard he worked to get it. Losing his mind a bit, and no more. It's like he's putting his foot down. Libra, Pisces, Cancer, Virgo came up here so far, and then getting to know each other from the romance angels there in front of you. And underneath that was after freeing himself. The number 18 then came up, which is about the moon. And the moon did pop up a lot here in the read. Or maybe not a lot, but maybe it was just very noticeable to me because we have the full moon coming up on the 16th. And today is the 13th, so 3 more days. The Queen of Swords may resent a father or twin for cheating on her. Out at night with a lover, while she wants for him to spend time with her, the Knight of Cups, Prince Charming, using his charm on everyone else but her, which could be a wound about the father's time spent with the feminine, whether it's the divine feminine or the karmic, doesn't really matter. It has to do with the father wounds coming up. That, and doesn't mean that the father had to be mean at all. It could just be he was a workaholic, and so he never spent time with the daughter. And, you know, you all know how important it is to bond with, you know, for the daughter, especially with the father. But this is coming up for both of them. Them giving all of their charms to everyone else. So if they were workaholic, they did it at work. If they were someone who cheated, they would do it with another woman. Or if they were someone who divorced and weren't in their life anymore, they were doing it with everyone else in their lives, but not with them. So she had to, then she, if the daughter wanted to have time with the father, she had to find a way to work with him and do what he loved, right? If she wanted his time, which was exactly what happened with me. I ended up working with my father, and it wasn't consciously because of those reasons, but I did. So she had to work with the father if he was to spend any time with her, because he was never home, or that's all he cared about. Memories of when Charming had a torch for her, so this has to do with just relationships in general, whether it's the karmic or the divine feminine. Memories of when Prince Charming had a torch for her, now burning the past memories, cremation, and now Charming with 2 women again, or all about the children, but pays no attention to her. She's not remembering, because she's got selective memory, that all those good memories were when one or both were drunk, or she and the divine masculine were he was occupying himself with studies or other interests, while the karmic was drunk or with friends gossiping, while he was always the designated driver. So that was coming up too. And it can be the other way around too, depending on the dynamic of the relationship. For some, only married her, we're talking about the karmic, because she was pregnant and then miscarried, or was never actually pregnant, but wrangled him in good. And for some, you know, they're pregnant, actually had the child. So some masculines may have the karmic's father constantly watching them like a hawk, even threatening him, passion in front of the TV while the divine masculine imagining fantasies, or watching porn or violence in order to get off with the karmic. Or by the full moon, the divine masculine burning the past with karmic to offer love to a new lover. And then environment comes up, which is number 44, the mastering, grounding, and integrating. And underneath that was completion, or number 9, endings, compassion. So remember to have compassion when going through endings. Even if it's someone you don't plan on spending time with, we're still called to have compassion with everyone, to try to see and understand. It doesn't mean we will, it doesn't mean we'll resonate with them, but it's always to try to have compassion for the other person's point of view. So these are just some of the energies that were coming up from the read. It may or may not apply to you. If it doesn't, don't make it fit. It's not for you. The Page of Wands was coming up as a good boy, even a good Jewish boy, defenseless to energies, attacks, or a man with a rifle standing behind him constantly. stinging him, taser, or threatening flames, or hot poker. Behind the Page of Swords reversed, a spoiled royal with 3 feathers, race car red in his cap, feeling justified in doing all that he or she did, spying, gawking, lying, verbal assault or abuse, spreading rumors, mean girl gossip, or just plain rude, or bipolar, or Asperger's. Okay, so all sorts of issues. The good boy up nights with hand by their sword, worried about leaving this mess behind him for someone else to clean up. Constant trash in the yard from kids, parties, or neighbors, trying to figure out where he really wants to live, or taking a hike in the mountains or the woods. And that was at 1048. And that's literally taking a hike in the mountains or the woods. 48 is the 8 of Cups. And 10, of course, the Wheel of Fortune. So there's definitely some energies of 2 different pages here in those underlying energies we were just talking about. One was the Page of Wands upright, which is the good boy, and then the Page of Swords reversed, which is the negative side of a child. And they can reference 2 children or different aspects of the masculine's inner child. And it can represent the masculine and the karmic as well, and how they behave like children with each other. And it can reference to the feminine again as well, also. But I was getting more of the dynamic between the masculine and the karmic. So they turned the page. It was 1049, 10 being the Wheel of Fortune and 49 being the 9 of Cups, which did come up upright in the read, by the way, here. This is the 9 of Cups. This is the Page of Pentacles. This is the 6 of Cups, the children in the garden. This is the 9 of Cups, and then this is the 3 of Pentacles. Just so you know, because you can't see those cards. So the good young man who always does the right thing, but defenseless to those who would do otherwise and hurt him. Dealing with mentally unstable child with knife by the bed, so that could be an adult child as well, now walking away for his own safety. Candy striper on crack or roofied, and roofies came up again in the movie last night, which was so weird, 2 nights in a row. I never hear anything about roofies, and then I watched 2 movies in a row that had roofies in them, so be careful of that, guys. Not walking away for his own safety, the candy striper on crack or roofied him to get what she wanted, tying him up involuntarily. How is a man supposed to tell someone he's in danger when other guys would call him a pussy, an idiot, or crazy for not wanting that crazy sex or that crazy chick, when he just wants to be left alone? Tired of threats, verbal abuse, immature conversations, and rumors spread, or just sleepless in Seattle, or sleepless due to crazy kids or teens, even someone may be a runaway. Tired of living in fear of the King of Wands or what people will say about his marriage or love life, the Divine Masculine walks away, leaving crazy life behind and that whole environment. 2 of Crystals comes up as the recent position, and I'm going to get to that in a minute as soon as I go through the read with you so you can see all the cards. Okay. So the underlying energy there is that Trinity card, which is like the 3 of Pentacles, the 3 of Crystals. The recent past being the 2 of Crystals, which is kind of like a surrender in this card, but today it was reversed, so it's more about letting go, tripping up, but allowing yourself to fall. The foundation here is that 8 of Orbs or 8 of Swords. It's about anxiety issues. And then we have in the middle here the 2 of Cups, but that energy was reversed in the read today, and you can see them in the window there. Okay. The challenge being the Strength card here with the tiger instead of the lion, so definitely could be Sag and Leo energies there. And then as we go back up here to the underlying energies, what's in crowning position is that 7 of Crystals or 7 of Pentacles, which is like the E tower, the Divine Feminine's heart. As we bridge across to the near future, we have that Hanging Man there, which is like the Hangman. Okay, and you can see all the Devil energy and the Lovers there with the 6 of Cups over there to the right. So a lot of contradiction energies together. We'll get into that in a minute. And then the Masculine seeing himself as that 8 of Cups, which already came up. All the Romance Angel cards here. And then around him, or how he's seen, is the 8 of Crystals, which you can't see very well buried, underneath all that activity of people and kids. Then we have what he needs to, the blocks that he needs to clear is the 6 of Pentacles, which came up reversed in this read. And then the number cards, which communication, I think is 33. I'm not positive on that, but I think so. But it ends up there on the Temperance card, which is called Alchemy here, with the 3 of Cups above that, which is reversed in this read. Then we have the Page of Swords above that, and then the 3 of Swords. The Page of Swords is upright and the 3 of Swords reversed. And then we get to the end of the read, and then the side note is to the right. Okay? So that's all the cards. And now I'm going to reposition this so you can see more of the read. Let's see here. Oop. There we go. And by the way, the Emperor, both the Emperor and the Empress were reversed today. And the Ace of Pentacles was the only one upright. All the other 3 aces were reversed. The 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups were both reversed too. So as far as family stuff, that was all reversed. But the 9 of Cups was upright, and so was the 9 of Pentacles, which is great because that's sovereignty for the masculine and the feminine. So getting into the 2 of Crystals in the recently position, tripping up, breaking patterns, or just allowing the fall for the masculine, which is good. The Prisoner of War, and could be prisoner of the workplace, choosing a different path to the left, the feminine side, working creatively, aligning and cracking codes, or working on details, or detailing, perhaps. Leading the way away from depression, away from loss of hope, giving up, or being called a loser by the King of Wands, lies, split, the Emperor reversed, out of control, and underhanded, a sneaky little shit was coming up here, or being blamed for what others did, or being seen as something he is not, bleeding out, hurt someone, or even imprisoned for wrongdoing. So he's letting all that stuff go. Or leaving behind feeling like he's in prison, bleeding out with anxiety, ulcers, guilt, and shame of birth, rebirth, lies, split, and needing to get to the truth of it. Dumped the routine, the facade, all of it, to be free and walk away, dumping all that no longer serves him, can be overwhelming, can't it? So the foundation there is the anxiety and the fears that come up about holding on loosely. But what if? What if, you know, the one who always wants to prepare for the worst, just in case? A sudden event, a trauma, what if? An explosion, a disaster, always preparing for the worst, so never enjoying the moment of bliss. Crown or covers blown in a wake-up call, stuff splattered everywhere. But a good thing about depression is you don't have to give a crap. Okay? Well, there's no fear. You know, when you hit bottom, you're not afraid of anything. You know, that's when it's easy to jump out of a plane because you don't feel the pain anymore. Anything is easier than what you have to feel already. So centrally for the masculine is that 2 of Cups reversed, disconnected from the one he loves, stuck in emotions, unable to find peace, expressing feelings, or just an energy exchange back and forth he's realizing isn't enough. The family cycle over and sunshine is out, kids back to normal, or just all exposed, or about unhappy family. So the exposure could be by an unhappy family or about an unhappy family, going on the journey. Disconnecting from the devil, or just a Capricorn, no longer reaping rewards, now in need of help or an opportunity, challenged by that strength card, which can be Leo or Sagittarius, or a Sagittarius Leo, or ego, or just weakness, out of control, giving up, ending the war with family, all unhappy, or just so over it, dead, I'm done. Okay? So that's coming up there. So definitely weakness of the Leo or Sag energy. I'm just trying to remember if there's something else that needs to come up about the tiger there. So, and he comes up, you can't, it's usually the eye of the tiger and, you know, can be the thrill of the fight and the eye on the prize. But in this read, everything's covered except for, like, his nose is covered. And you see his mouth open, but you don't see any teeth, right? And it's really kind of like the cardinal spying on me too. So, and it's the space between the words, it's just the eye. So just I spy, that's coming up here. So he's just so over all that crap, right? Everything, he's just dead now inside as far as everything that's going on. Nothing left to fight for. And then I was just getting from the Beatles again. Nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. All right, so that's coming up. 11:19 when I turn the page is Justice and the Sun. So justice in full exposure. You know, at first that extreme exposure, like getting burned by the sun, can feel like it can burn. But then it turns into a tan, doesn't it? Healing the King of Pentacles, moving or ending a marriage. Justice served, coming out of isolation before the Leo Sagittarius, or both, the Leo Sag, strategizes how to spend the rest of his money or not give him what he's owed. Okay, and this can be a masculine or feminine here. Aries reversed, Aquarius upright and reversed, Scorpio, and I think Scorpio was, I know it was upright for sure. Yeah, there's definitely upright Scorpio energy, actually very powerfully so. Leo upright and reversed. The Strength card was reversed, but the Sun card was upright. So more of the Strength card represents the person for me. So that was reversed. Capricorn was upright, Sagittarius reversed. Capricorn, Leo, Sag, disconnect. Capricorn in need of an opportunity with the Page of Pentacles reversed and the Page of Wands upright and reversed. So he could be feeling excited and frustrated all at the same time. Recovering from twisted pillar, extending an olive branch in the downturn of his destiny, needing to be more present to his knowing, his intuition, feeling the answer instead of asking more questions, more need to know, needing to know more about the flame, worried about rejection and depression instead of listening to self-knowing of the love that just is. Now crowning is the Seven of Crystals, or that Seven of Pentacles, the Divine Feminine's heart, as I see it in this deck, the Syrian Starseed deck. It's also referred to me as the E-Tower, like Eve's Tower for the Divine Feminine. So that picture that I showed you of Adam and Eve comes up here, and it said literally Adam and Eve, and N for me is symbolic of Jesus. So Adam and Eve and the space between, which is Jesus, right? The Christ consciousness. The other letters, which some of them were shaded out, so it was reading L instead of Sail, or LE for Lilith, Eve. It said take an extra 25% off, and instead of the lowest price, it said the Lowe's price. So the masculine may be being told to go to Lowe's for 25% off, whatever they're looking for that's too expensive. They might be able to get off 25% off at Lowe's. That's kind of funny. Also, two legs in white pants, and spaces between look like two flames, literally. Below Adam, it said Just Say No Club. Just Say No Club. And the sponsor had a picture of a chicken with the t-shirt on. It was so perfect. So below Adam was the Just Say No Club with a chicken sponsor. Under Eve is fatspots.com. Okay, so she may be worrying about her weight. Then they each had that 11 underneath them with the 1 of the unity after Eve. And I was getting boutique as broken down as well, as a boat or about, and the Q or the what and the I, right? So about what's in your Q. Or I is the lowercase I is the chakra system. Is your chakra system balanced? Is everything in the queue, right? Is everything aligned in the boat or about you? So the Divine Feminine, the E Tower, the High Tower also came up, which is a funny character. Rapunzel sees visitors, but can't get out. Happy by self, while Taurus and Aries, Virgo or Gemini work it out. Happy with self, rising above, or not sleeping well, but still rising above, seeing synchronicities and heaven in their eyes, all the choices and options one can dream of right here in front of you. Bubbling up with enthusiasm in the aftermath of epiphanies or sudden events, of grounding and holding on loosely while transmuting the energies the Divine Masculine is going through with the karmic. So she's relaxing more and staying in, not just because she's isolating, but in order to help the masculine transmute the energies he's going through with all the activity and chaos going on. Okay, so whatever the Divine Masculine is going through with the different karmics in his life and walking away. Any lacks, insecurities, miscarriage, abortion, or manipulations he's dealing with. Don't worry, be happy, feminines. Keep it light to support his plight of getting out of there. The Divine Feminine planning on how to go forward with business, work, or work on house, or moving and whether or not to move. Don't forget, Divine Masculine, that prison is just disconnect from higher self, or in other words, the Divine Feminine. The Emperor reversed, out of control, about spending or lack of opportunity or help in a split, or children lying or past lies, wanting clarity on it all, feeling frazzled, falling short due to disconnect from higher self. For the masculines, ground and center, balance yourself, be present, take a deep breath, eat blueberries off the vine or even grapes, disconnect from the grapevine. And then I was just getting grapes of wrath. What you hear about the Queen of Pentacles reversed, or what you hear from the Queen of Pentacles reversed, is not being seen. Avoiding walking away or recognizing that the Divine Masculine walked away, or sitting through uncomfortable emotions. And this Queen of Pentacles reversed can be a karmic or a Divine Feminine. You know, there's lots of earth signs out there, but it has to do with someone who's ungrounded as the Queen of Pentacles reversed, and definitely can be the Divine Feminine, just needing to ground because the masculine keeps ungrounding her with what he's going through. You get it? So with the grapevine, right, and gossip, so the masculine's being told, you know, disregard what you hear on the grapevine. Always make sure you get it from the source. But if you hear from the Queen of Pentacles as the karmic, or the Divine Feminine if you're in communications with them, or from the Queen of Pentacles or about them, is not being seen. She may be hiding behind the scenes, avoiding having to walk away. So it could be the karmic figuring, if I'm not seen, then I don't have to leave, right? If they've split up and they don't want to move out of the house, just trying to kind of stay under the radar so things don't go forward, kind of trying to manipulate the situation. Or the feminine just staying holding back and not showing themselves to keep the energies more calm, recognizing the Divine Masculine walked away or is sitting through uncomfortable emotions, and she needs to help him transmute those energies, okay? Because she's his energy source. Avoidance no longer. Conceited one taken down off of their high horse or their pedestal, and that was at 1156, which is justice and the Two of Swords being in your knowing. And by the way, that picture of Adam and Eve, I wrote down the time too, which was 3:43, which is the Empress and the Three of Cups. So 3 of Cups is 43, which is a 7. But the Empress and coming together, but the 3 of Cups in this read was reversed, okay? So that's very much about gossip. And the Empress was reversed. So that could be really nasty gossip, actually. And that could be a lot of lack energies and a lot of overindulgences, gossip. Third party, you know, karmic could have a third party too. A third party could be a mother who's the Empress reversed here. Okay, so someone's being knocked off their pedestal, their high horse, someone who is conceited. Present to justice, Libra. Divorce with the Queen of Wands karmic, their tie over. No more illusions or delusions of grandeur. The Queen of Wands may be upright, but also maybe out of control, rejected, depressed, and getting real at the present moment. So that if the Queen of Wands is also a Queen of Pentacles reversed, then she could very much be out of control, because it's just showing up more as her earth sign part. Letting go of stuff involuntarily. So people are taking her stuff away because they're splitting up and she's mad about it. Or she's just not mad about it, but just not letting it happen, you know, or just pretending it's not happening. Or the Emperor reversed is dumping everything on her. Like maybe he's getting rid of all of his stuff and giving it to her because he doesn't want it. Soon is the Hanging Man, who's upright, so he's actually just hanging out and being wise, seeing other perspectives. Hanging out with dysfunctional family, extended family, or possibly with a loss of legacy or inheritance, or just money in general, in a divorce, or with Libra, fighting or with the conflict over, still grounding and integrating offer of love, for the Devil or Capricorn, waving. So it can be one or the other, it doesn't have to be the Devil. Virgo, Libra, Capricorn, Gemini, and Pisces, and Cancers, those energies came up here. Twins or kids, divine love or lovers, face Sam and Lilith, all right? So the dark side of the masculine and the feminine, their higher selves, that raw sexual energy, to free themselves from their chains, all right? So it's you facing your dark side and releasing yourself from all those things your parents told you you had to be, which you're not, which wasn't true. If you're wondering where your twin went, look to your dark side, your higher self, the third energy, the Kundalini, the non-duality. We are all one. Six of Cups, lovers, and the Devil, the innocence, sexuality, and affection, and your imperfections. Unication. One positively charged atom, needing to set his dark side free. Taught as a child to restrict, withhold, can't fend for himself, must depend on women to care for him or fix him, or not in his truth due to women always obsessing over him, mothers, aunts, sisters, friends, all but the love he wanted from his mother or father. Always a child to them, never seen as a man. From one or the other, father too stern or abusive, neglective, never home or left due to cheating, or stayed as a philanderer. Or mother strict, religious, bad temper or never home, or overly doting and kind, or just gone. No one could live up to my egg's worth, per the mother, right? So the mother, nothing's ever good enough for her son, and that was very much my mother's template, because my father's mother didn't accept her. So the mother could say very much about the masculine, like, you know, he's my egg, so I take all the credit for what he's done. Like, she doesn't give him the credit, she takes it for having reared him, as she stomps on or smothers her pride. The divine, so the pride being him, okay? Divine, right, because the mother sees her worth as through her children, and that's very much so in the Oriental culture. The divine masculine sees self as unable to make decisions, walking away and then returning over and over again. Sovereign confesses or dumps burdens to end the war within, defenseless to all their crap, but learning to no longer care about what he can't control, or in other words, others. Wounded warrior giving up, surrendering all to the King of Wands. And that the King of Wands could be a brother or father or partner that he's giving up, he can't please him, so he's like, here, take it, I'm leaving, I'm out of here. Or the King of Wands can represent the masculine, but that's not really what I was getting here. It can be read two different ways also as the masculine. He could just be telling the karmic and the karmic's father, I quit everything and just leave the home and the business, or one or the other. Or all he feels that the divine feminine may have dumped on him, he dumps on the karmic and our kids, or the masculine people in his family, like the father, the father-in-law, a partner, brother, or friend, and just finally decides to make a final decision instead of vacillating. It is safe to love came up for the masculine, as well as separation, forgiving and learning, and then give your relationship a chance. And then two more cards came up, which were honeymoon and attraction. So needing to take a break, and there's attraction here. And that's this card here. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. Or if the divine feminine, he may be seeing, if the divine feminine can do it, so can he. He may be saying that to himself. Around him, or how he's seen, is working out details financially and or practically for disconnect from karmic and kids, or saving to offer help those in need, reflecting the divine feminine, or to create an opportunity to set divine feminine's world right and reconnect their disconnect. And that was at 1228. So 12 is the hangman and 28 is the two wands, or the twin flames. The court cards here, I already told you the Emperor and the Empress were both reversed in this read. All of the knights were upright here. So all of the movement was smooth as far as the younger energies as well, the teens in their 20s, and even into 30s for the knights. The pages, the Page of Cups and the Page of Pentacles were reversed, the other two upright. But the Page of Wands was both upright and reversed. The only queen that was reversed was the Queen of Pentacles. And of the kings, the King of Cups and the King of Swords were reversed. The other two were upright. Okay. Yeah. So the masculine needs to clear blocks of imbalances and debts, whether that regards time, energy, money. So it's like debts, people, and time versus money and energy. The Queen of Wands spreading the word. He may be fearing this, and it may not be true, but he needs to clear blocks about the Queen of Wands spreading the word, that he has no money, no talent, or he's terrible at sex, or having to deal with the Queen of Wands hounding him for money, causing anger and frustration, or dealing with hers and her minions. Coming together at work and worried about her chasing others away, especially twin, or causing more stress, crying, purging to the divine feminine or himself. Or worried about the karmic spreading other rumors of lying, cheating, stealing at work to ruin his reputation, or force him out of business, or chase the customers away, or tell people that he can't commit, or he can't finish anything, etc., etc., etc. Telling the divine feminine bad things about him to make her want to run away as well. So these are all the fears of the masculine and the blocks that he needs to clear and let go of. Unication. So partnership change, personal growth, and relationship change also came up for the masculine, even more so than the communication or the unication. The King of Swords reversed, worried how things look when he becomes single, and then takes an opportunity right away to be with someone else. So again, he's fearing what other people think, and now sees 2 to 3 options and not sure who to pick. So again, going back to vacillating. The Queen of Wands and Queen of Cups offering different things, but who will deal with him if he's in need of money or a job or a place to live, or who's going to want to deal with his kids who may be hard to deal with or hard to handle, or needs money for his kids' education. As usual, expecting women to fix his life. So be careful if your masculine's coming out of the gate this way, right? So impatience with the karmic, spending and depression. The Queen of Wands, Aquarius, and Queen of Cups coming up as Cancer, frustrated and uninspired. Or he comes to find a Cancer or Aquarius had a kid with another person. The Queen of Wands, or he, has 1 to 2 kids with one mother and one with another. And who wants to deal, and he's saying to himself, who wants to deal with all that drama? Like, why would the feminine want me? Or wondering how kids will mesh, and does he want another child, and does she? Remembering all the issues with dating and why he was happy to give it up in the first place. And why would twin want all this mess? There may be 2 different Queen of Wands, one with Libra, one with Aquarius, and or Cancer and Capricorn, Queen of Cups, but could be Cancer, Capricorn, Gemini as well. Could just be work people also, friends, siblings, etc., and not women to choose from. But the Queen of Cups connected to lovers and twins, and the Queen of Wands connected to the devil and depression, frustrated tantrums at night. Looks like the karmic Queen of Wands and twin or lover Queen of Cups, or karmic who has kids with him, if he's in another relationship besides the marriage, impatiently strategizing or making a plan, or pissed as the full moon grows at spending that's been going on by kids or karmic, or people acting like kids at work, or literally kids working with him and not being helpful. 1255 came up here, which is the Hangman, and 55 is the Ace of Swords, or the Truth. So if kids are at work, or adults acting like children, both acting up, as the Page of Wands and the Page of Pentacles both reversed. The full moon bringing out temper tantrums for sure here. So as I turn the page, it's still 1255. The King of Cups reversed, detaching and pushing away karmic who's out of control, or one or both of them is abusing their power, or could be a father in her as well. Could be the karmic and her father, or divine masculine's father with a new girlfriend who just dumped him. And the Page of Swords news or message that a wedding's off or marriage is now separated. Divine masculine with chills and epiphanies. Lovers broke it off at the altar with 2 groomsmen and or bridesmaids. Someone found out they slept with one of the wedding party, or the divine feminine got real and now has multiple suitors. The Knight of Cups leading the way as the dark night falling, weak, and breaking patterns for her. Or Gemini, Leo, Aries, or ego tripped up at the altar. Marriage is definitely off. Rejection, as the messenger of truth comes rushing in to tell spoiled Taurus that he loves someone else. So this is the masculine coming in as the messenger of truth. The secret's out with multiple perspectives, staying calm to hang out with the Queen of Cups ending up on top. Or her need to know, or taking out impatience and need to know. And the impatience of the King of Swords, sitting in all those bad feelings of the third party and his or her overindulgences all this time, and now dumping all attachments no longer for his highest good. So knowing the Queen of Swords, so he's either knowing the Queen of Swords is impatient and now feeling it and feeling bad that she's been sitting in all that bad feeling for so long, or also his own impatience of him sitting in all these bad feelings for so long. So it's all coming to like a vortex where he's putting it together, where he's experiencing this and now realizing that he did that to the feminine as well, and now dumping all attachments no longer for his highest good. It's like all of a sudden where everything goes and sucks up into the vortex because it's all happening at once and revealing itself in an epiphany. The Queen of Cups on top of her game and the King of Swords reversed, getting rid of his addictions. Leo with multiple suitors, caught, or divine feminine nudges the dark knight to drop the facade, purposely knocking him over, or not consciously but purposely knocking him over to recognize his weakness or the karmic's facade, to help him stand up for himself and come into his truth, see the wise perspective after not having used his intuition. Now, with the secret out, the Queen of Cups held up on a chair with people's feet spinning around. So it could definitely be someone at Cirque du Soleil or the circus as well. That can be actually a Jewish wedding too, or someone being held up on the chair, but I was definitely seeing it with their feet instead of their hands, so that was kind of fun. But it was getting fun for everyone at the fairs too. Fun for kids, limited spending, and you come home with nothing. That was the good thing about the fair. Thank God, says the masculine. Workplace anxiety and vacillating, finally walks away, working out the details by dropping the facade and breaking patterns, allowing himself to make mistakes and disconnect, challenged by Leo reverse, which can also be Sagittarius, but the ego also, hanging in limbo, imbalanced and or in debt, up to their eyeballs from overspending due to the divine feminine karmic retribution, impatient and having temper tantrums. So I was definitely getting this as the karmic freaking out, and anyone who wants to get back at somebody else just going out and spending a lot of money. The karmic no match for the divine feminine was just coming up here once she comes out in the ring. So, well, you know, when coming out like the Colosseum, or coming out with the ring or a call, parties over after being out of control. I heard the news today, oh boy. So that was coming up again as lightning strikes. And strike 3, you're out. Devil's hook, shepherd's crook. You're out of here. You're out. Emperor out of control. And the Queen of Wands depressed. Drunk at a party and telling the truth. Healing, but someone might also throw up too. That was at 125, which is the Magician and the Knight of Wands. So that could definitely be someone flirting at a party, drinking too much, and then some stuff might come out here this weekend. The workplace with twin abilities, an opportunity to get his wish by dropping the act, the facade, tripping up and getting real, falling over, allowing himself to break, formally the unbreakable, right? Walking away with anxiety about disconnecting, and then what happens, the what ifs, if the Divine Feminine rejects him, and challenged by the Leo Sag out of control, walking away to hang out and be wise, working out details and debts to be settled, impatient with third party, or out of control at a party, could be the Divine Masculine, a father, or karmic, or all three of them losing their temper, and drunk. There's no fighting scene, only wars ending and news of healing, forgiveness, especially of the masculine to himself. So the main issue with this read has to do with the Two of Cups reversed, so the disconnect, so definitely a breakup here. Although the Lovers is upright, so that has to do with allowing himself to have affection for the feminine, because that's right next to the Six of Cups. It could also be affection for his children, but it was really coming up more of as a lover's thing, because it's next to the Devil as well. But if that's the main energy about the Two of Cups disconnect. So disconnecting from karmic energies and those who no longer serve for his higher purpose, and realizing the disconnect from his feminine is only because he's disconnected from himself, because he needs to reconnect to his higher self, and then he reconnects with the feminine. The challenge being that Strength card, which is also reversed, which has to do with weakness, has to do with a Leo or Sagittarius person out of control, the Devil unstable, or a Capricorn that's moving, major justice happening, and or coming out parties. Yep. So that's it for the read. I'm going to pull you some more cards since we're after an hour anyway. It was just 10201. In saying that, Magician and the High Priestess coming together. I'm going to pull you a few more cards. Let's see what comes up to wrap things up today. All right, take a deep breath, everyone. It is July 13, 2019. For everyone watching, the best and highest good of all those concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn? We're asking Joshua. Joshua. All right. For those of you who don't usually listen to me, Joshua's coming up in my dream the other morning. I was literally told in a dream, remembering them talking to me and telling myself to remember what they say as I'm dreaming it. It was very lucid dreaming. Someone introducing themselves to me as Jesus or Yeshua, and then saying, but it's pronounced Joshua. So that was pretty cool. So we're asking Joshua here, for everyone listening, the best and highest good of all those concerned, what do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Another deep breath. And here we go. What are some final closing words for everyone here? It's a little bit of choppiness, and to allow that and be patient. Things disjointed, allow it to be. All right, so the first card coming out is about that disjointed. Oh, all right, I have to plug in before we lose you. Sorry about that. So the first card out is the Page of Swords reversed. Okay. And I was just I heard the news today, oh boy, again. So don't, this can be a lot of gossip. It can be nasty gossip. It can be slander. It could just be lies spread. It also could be an immature adult, but also could be a child as well, just, immaturely spreading things that they know very little about or nothing about. could just be, internet stuff too, Instagram stuff, so don't pay much attention to any of that stuff. This is the bottom of the deck, is the Queen of Pentacles, so you're coming up nice, secure, and stable, okay, which is good. So I'll show you what's under that after I pull the other card so I don't mess up with the order of things. But the Wheel of Fortune's coming up reverse, which is just a slowdown. It's the retrograde stuff, so that it will then propel you forward, all right? So like energy, which always loops, it always comes back around. Don't be intimidated by the Wheel of Fortune reversed, because remember, after all, everything's in divine timing anyway. And this is just that loop of when the energy comes back down around. And the reads go that way too. So the reads could be really good, and then all of a sudden you'll see them not seem as good anymore, because it's just the loop coming back down and around to go back up again. All right, so know that. And we have the wheel coming up too at the fair. Sometimes it goes forward, sometimes it goes backwards. It's all good. And also allows you to see things in slow motion, which is very much what the retrogrades can be about. Then we have the Page of Cups, which is pure, innocent love, all right? There's nothing negative about this card at all. It's very much the card of Jesus with the fish in the cup. So knowing who you are, that Jesus would say you are him and he is you. You're all the same, one God. Liberty and justice for all is coming up here. But yeah, to be your innocent, true self, okay? Allow your heart to shine. This can also be a child giving you love to try to raise your spirits. So allow them that. So I'm seeing two, because there's two children. There could be two children in the situation where one is being very loving and the other one's being a pain in the butt. They're giving you a lot of lip, and they could be lying as well, or just a lot of immature communication. And that could be because of the Wheel of Fortune reversed, pulling people back into the vacuum to see the discrepancy there, what's missing, the space between what needs to be filled and bridging the gap, is to slow down and allow things to present themselves. To don't try to force the issue. Just allow it to, to dissipate. Don't try to control. So then we have the Death card, which is perfect, because this is the Dark Knight coming in on his horse, right? Walking over any dead bodies, because that doesn't really matter anymore. They're dead, right? And not letting anyone stop them, right? The old ways of tradition and religion, not getting in their way anymore, okay? This is that total transformation. Yeah, and I'm just getting that card too. Be open in your perception to what you receive, because this is like, your knight in shining armor coming in, but he might be in black armor instead. So just understand that things, you may do things differently between yourselves, but it doesn't mean anything negative. It's just different. Page of Pentacles is also coming up reverse, so here we have more kid energy. And that's someone in need of help or opportunity or an invitation, or it could be a bad student as well. So now we have a mouthy kid, a loving kid, and a bad student, or someone who's always asking for money. And then we have the Justice card. And so far of the major arcanas, we have Libra, Scorpio, and Libra again. So major Libra energies here. But this is all about truth and balance, right? And final decisions. So there could be a divorce finalized as well, or a court case. These two want to come out together. The Tower and the Hierophant reverse. So this is definitely a split, just like came up in the read. It can have to do with epiphanies too, and sudden spirituality, and his crown blasting open suddenly as well. This could be a literal marriage happening that splits up. So literally, like I said, it could be someone leaving the altar. It could also be a long-term marriage that's all of a sudden split, but also could be a sudden epiphany about his own spirituality for the masculine, all right? And then we have the Four of Wands reversed, which has to do with instability, but it can be a move. And not to forget that your heart is your home, all right? Because this is something structural, having to do with a marriage ending as well. So it could be a move or a marriage ending, or a party or celebration was canceled, like that wedding that somebody walked out on, okay? So this is all confirming everything was just in the read. Then we have the Hermit reverse, which is coming out of isolation, but don't forget, you can go out of your mind a little bit from over-isolating before you are forced to come out of isolation, out of hiding, right? Because your light starts to dim if you don't come out. Come out, from wherever you are. I'm just getting that. Like hide and seek. Like the cardinal was spying on me. Like come out, wherever you are. I can't find you. And then we have a release. Okay, so that's the release of anxiety, the release from prison, the release from putting yourself in prison or feeling trapped or restrained in any way. This is the release in coming out. So it can be any kind of coming out. It doesn't mean that you're gay. It's anything that you've been holding back, any secrets that you were ashamed of, afraid to bring out, that you're afraid of what other people would think of you. It's releasing all of that stuff in this final release, this sudden event. And then we have the 8 of Cups, which is sitting in those feelings. If they're uncomfortable, allowing the pain, going into it instead of avoiding it in order for it to release. Now you're learning how to release the pain instead of avoiding it, to confront it head on, to go through the pain in order for it to totally release, so you don't have to sit on all that anxiety forever, right? And then we have the 5 of Swords and the Ace of Wands, right? The 5 of Swords is reversed. That's like ending the war, maybe even an apology, right? Letting go of the inner war in order to end the outer war, and finding as soon as you end the crap inside of you, you open up space for this new passion to be offered to you. See that? And new growth as well. So that could be creative, that could be sexual passion. And that's where it wants to end for sure. I'm going to show you what's at the end of the deck now. That was a really nice stream of cards. So definitely new passion offered as soon as you end the war from within, okay? So at the bottom of the deck was that Queen of Pentacles, and we're going to see what's underneath her. Oh, look at that. Wow. So because she offered love to herself, she was reversed, but now she's turned upright. Okay? This is about the purging cycles. When it's reversed for the 9, since you still have the 10 to go, it's very much still in the purging cycles, but getting used to that, and it's okay now. Accepting it. Acceptance. And then before that was the Page of Wands, which is frustration, maybe feeling lack of inspiration, sexual frustration as well. And when you are able to purge and cry and let it out, it resets, and then you can offer love back to yourself. That's why crying is so important. It's a release. It's a purge. Okay? When you're feeling left out in the cold, after being exposed fully, the feminine went through it first, and then the masculine. All right? They're both there, feeling injured, alone, and out in the cold with their abandonment issues and radiation burn, and maybe roofies as well. We have all of this stuff ends when you let yourself cry, you allow, you accept, you offer yourself love, and then you also become this and receive love, okay? Beautiful. All right, guys. Drink your water. Get your rest. It's an order to go out and have fun, and no worries. Be happy. Rise and be love. Bye.